All right, so welcome back to my conclusion rundown after the event. Finally got some sleep. Man, I was real tired this morning, so I had to get some sleep. I got some food in me, kind of relaxed for a little bit, but here goes. So for those of you who don't know, I did the 4x4x48 challenge, which is a Dave Goggins challenge. I don't know when he started it, probably 15 years ago. That guy's a beast. I don't really follow him too much, but it was pretty good. So 4x4x48 means 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, and it was a monster, absolutely. I felt that while I didn't train a lot, it was broken down enough to where I could. It was bite size. Like 4 miles, I can do 4 miles, and then it would just be a challenge to, you know, fuel and hydrate appropriately throughout the rest of the time and kind of manage my body, right? And that was the challenge. Um, the challenge was not the individual 4 miles. Those were easy. I was cardio wise, aerobically wise, I had enough energy for all the movements. But it was the volume in the short period of time and trying to, man, keep my body, engaged, so to speak. So that's what's up. What did I do to train? I didn't really do anything to train. I mentioned this before in a previous video, but I did about 120 miles ish in January and February. And that was just, 3 times a week, between 15 and 18 miles a week. And that was the goal. I didn't want to ramp it up too crazy. And then I felt like this was a good challenge to get me out of my comfort zone and to knock it out. Food. So I usually make most of my own food already, but I had tried out Factor 75, and the food's pretty good. So I used that a lot, and that was just so I didn't have to make anything specifically, right? While I was tired and run down. But I used those, and then I used hydration. So obviously you don't use hydration, but drank a lot of water. Liquid IV, the Go One More supplement from uh, from BPN supplements. I use that a lot, and then some salt, just straight up salt. So a quarter teaspoon of salt on a regular basis, and that was all good. Um, None of that stopped the fact that I had a high level of anxiety before the event. It was pretty wacky. Um, I'm a relatively confident person, so when it comes down to doing an exercise event, I'm not really worried about me completing it so much, but as doing well in it, right? And happens for any kind of PT test, for the military, for anything else, any kind of testing event. But I was just nervous. The anxiety was real, man. It was, living up to an expectation, putting it out there on Instagram and Facebook and then failing. I was nervous about that, and I didn't want to do that. So, well, another reason why I put it out there was so that it would motivate me to complete it. Um, so let's run through all the runs. Number one was a hilly run. I started a little bit early because I had an appointment to make. So I got that run in, and I ran in a different location so I could make the appointment on time. And instead of hitting a nice level track, but it was a sketchy because it was on the side of the road, I decided to go to a place that had sidewalks, but had a lot of hills, unfortunately. So that sucked. But that was my fastest time, 36 minutes. I knocked that out. That was pretty easy. Run number two, I did it around the house, and we have a nice little park near us, so I ran that one, and it was about 38 minutes, 39 minutes, something like that. I can't remember. All the times are behind me, but I'm not gonna keep looking it back. It's already completed. But it was windy then, and we had a storm a couple days ago, and I guess we had remnants of that storm in Central Texas. So that's that. Number three, I convinced my son to bike with me, and he complained the entire time. Um, I dropped him off after 2 laps, which was each lap was a mile, and then I finished the last two. But yeah, I've actually felt good for that run. I didn't feel too bad at all. Run 4 was at 8 o'clock at night. I was feeling tired then. This would have been my 13 to 16 mile time, and that was the most I had done in a day up until then. So I was feeling it. I was a little tired, and that's when my hips started hurting just a little tiny bit, and it was windy again, which was annoying. But it was in the evening, and that's the reason why. So number 5 was the midnight run, and it was definitely slower, but I just ran the loop around the house, and you know, I didn't walk at all, but it was definitely a little slower. It was just tiring. That's it. Run 6 was a 4 a.m. and this one sucked. This was the point where I was so tired. I wanted to quit. I hated it. I hated how slow I was running. I was not enjoying myself anymore. But that's the point of this exercise. That's the point of this challenge was, while I knew it really wasn't going to be too much of a physical challenge. Well, it is a physical challenge, but it was truly, truly a mental game, a mental challenge. And after that 4 a.m. one, I hadn't gotten a lot of sleep, obviously, because of the 4-hour increments, but I just wasn't into it anymore. I was not having any more fun. I got some sleep. I woke up at 8 o'clock. I woke up for the 8 o'clock one around 7-ish, 7:30, and I was even less enthusiastic about that run. I was mad, and I was drained. I was tired. But you know what the problem was is that I didn't fuel correctly, and I was not eating anywhere near the amount of food that I should have been eating, and that was a big reason why. So we hit the 8 o'clock run. I knocked that one out. That was not a good run by any means, but it was. I think I completed it. Right, we finished the run. It is what it is. So then, right after that, we usually do like a Saturday BS at Black Rifle. I went up there. We have a Black Rifle coffee place in town, and I got up there, talked to some people, told them about all my issues, blah 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 blah. But just before I went to coffee, I crushed a massive bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and it basically gave me all my energy back. Those carbs helped out, and just, you know, you think you know what you're doing for fuel until whatever you think you're doing doesn't work, and then when you're doing it, when you fix it, and you're like, holy shit, this is what I was missing the entire time. So carbs and caffeine were the notes on that one, and I felt great. I felt really good. Coming around to the run 3, which is in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, and it was hot. So I wore a tank top, get some sun, sun's out, guns out kind of situation, and I felt good, but my hip was definitely starting to bother me at that point a little bit more. And then the overall just feeling of being drained, right? So over this course, I already hit the cold tub a couple times. I have these the Normatec sleeves for the legs that kind of inflate and help. But none of that was really helping. It didn't really help me feel any better. But those carbs did earlier. Run 4. This was the 8 o'clock run on my second day, 8 p.m. run on my second day, and I decided to run it, and walked for about a half a mile, walked a little bit, ran some more, and I was feeling really good. And then I didn't want to push it, so I started to walk again, and my hip locked up on me. My IT band, where it connects to the hip, right on my hip right here, it said no. It just said no more. So I walked the rest of that one in, and that was my slowest time, 56 minutes, and very, very annoyed with that situation. I stretched out a lot after that. I I massaged it out. I rolled it out a little bit, but I stretched a lot of it out. I got some sleep. I woke up for the midnight run and decided what I was going to do is I was going to use a vest instead. I felt like it was a cop out if I just walked 4 miles. That's not part of the competition, or not the competition, the challenge. The challenge is to run the time, and I wanted to be true to form there. So if I couldn't run, at least I was going to do it weighted. And so I had a 20-pound vest. I put that on, and I walked for a little bit, and I ran for a little bit, and I walked for a little bit, and I ran for more of it, and I probably ran for 3/4 of that time, and I was feeling okay. Nothing hurt too horrible. I was fine. Oh, before that I took a bunch of ibuprofen, so that's probably why I didn't hurt too much. Um, well, I was joking with somebody else. I said, the Army's always right with everything that they do, especially the ibuprofen thing. No matter what, you just take ibuprofen and water, and you're good to go. So that's what that did there. And then 4 a.m. run, the snooze monster got me. I slept in just a little bit, about 30, 40 minutes, and I still got to run in the time frame, right? Every 4 miles, or 4 miles every 4 hours, right? So I had a 4-hour block of time to get the run in, but I still wanted to get it in early as possible. So I hit that, and so those last 2 walk runs with the vest, I'm listening to Ken Haynes. If you don't know who he is, he's a bow hunter, and he's got a book out there called Endure, and he's also he's a world-class athlete, just period. But I'm at the point in this book where he's talking about his never quit attitude, and well, it came at the perfect timing, right? I was hitting it pretty good, and I needed that. So that last run, I finished pretty good. I finished under 50 minutes. My goal was to do it in 55, and I finished under 50. I was running. I was feeling great. So, motivational music and podcasts, they obviously help, but listening to somebody like that, and the struggles he's been through, and the amount of ass kicking that he's done as well, just it kind of diminishes the little bullshit that I'm dealing with on a 48-mile little challenge that I'm doing. And I'm not doing it through mountains, and I'm not doing it through any kind of horrible terrain. So I just kicked my ass, it lit a fire, and I was gonna finish it on time. So that's that. Some facts and some points for the entire event. What happened? So overall, so for me, my basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of calories I need in my body to maintain my weight, period, even if I'm laying on the couch all day, is 2,500. Now during that time frame, I burned about 600 calories almost every single run. And so at the end of it, I burned about 6,300 calories per, at least what Garmin says. That's not on top of, and that's not without the 2,500 calories for both days that I had to do, which was just surviving, just living. So 2,500, that's 5,000 plus the 6,300. We're looking at 11,300 calories. That's a lot, man. I can tell you I didn't eat as much as I should have, and I felt it on that second morning. So the second day I basically just ate my face off. I ate everything I could see. I probably ate about 5,000 calories on the second day, but I should have been doing that on the first day. I did about 96,000 steps in 2 days, which I almost earned another badge on Garmin by doing 50,000 steps in a day. But it was close, but I didn't get that one. I'll get that another day. Not worried about that. So that was good, 96,000 steps. And so how did I feel after? I'm not gonna lie to you, believe it or not, I felt I felt pretty good, and I felt that I could have done at least 2 or 3 more rounds of the 4 miles. I probably could have done more, but realistically, I mean, I didn't want to. I didn't want to break anything else. I just wanted to. I wanted to complete this challenge, compartmentalize it, and then do it again. So I will be doing this again. It in the beginning, in the mid frame portion, I thought that this was the worst idea I've ever had, and that I wasn't gonna finish it. Pushed through that wall when I finally got through there, and I finished this whole thing. That last run, I felt, like I said, I felt on fire, and I wanted to. I'm not done. I'm gonna be doing another 4x4x48. Period. It's gonna happen. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I will be doing it again, and I think I'm gonna amp it up just a tiny bit after that. It'll be a little bit more than 48 miles. Whatever I'm gonna do, it's gonna be more than. Stay tuned. Um, what did I learn about this whole thing? So I learned a few different things. Number one, food is important. I think that's obvious. I think eating is important. Fueling properly is important. I am typically a high protein, low carb, high fat guy. I enjoy eating that kind of food, and however, carbs are absolutely necessary, especially when doing something like this. And I didn't really change my diet up in the beginning, and that was that was my fault. That was my problem. And I know that if I would have, I know looking back on it that if I would have fueled appropriately, or refueled appropriately rather, after some of these runs, that it would have not hurt as bad and taken such a toll. So that's number one. Number two is training. I do a decent amount of bulletproofing. I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to my body. I've had a lot of lower leg injuries, and I don't want those anymore. And amazingly enough, I didn't have any lower leg injuries. I had upper leg injuries. So my IT band coming into my hip stabilizer muscles, that kind of stuff, I will be ensuring that they're not going to fail me again in the future. Hip flexors, IT, gluteus medius, all that kind of stuff. Like, I need to make sure that that stuff is rock solid going forward, and I'll make sure that. Recovery. So I have a cold tub. I used the cold tub a couple times. I used those Normatec sleeves. I didn't stretch as much as I probably should have, and I will be doing that more. Honestly, think the cold tub might have hurt me actually, and maybe some doctors out there can clarify. I was trying to reduce inflammation, the immediate inflammation of the event, and I wasn't trying to save any muscle mass or save the muscle building effect. I wasn't trying to do any of that kind of stuff. So I'm just curious if it caused too much tightening, and that's maybe why my hip was killing me, because I didn't do other things. I didn't do any more cold tub after the first couple times, and it got better. Ibuprofen though was definitely key, and that helped out a lot. So that's that. What else? Ibuprofen, carbs. We talked about that already. And guess what? Did you know you can lose toenails? Because I'm pretty sure my toenail's gonna fall off. I don't know. I didn't know that you could. I looked it up after, but yeah, you can lose toenails. So that's cool. Oh, and also band-aids on your nipples. It is what it is, man. All right, so what's next? Well, I'm not too destroyed, so I'm going to continue my programming, which is strength and conditioning. Got spring break coming up next week, so I got to make sure that doesn't kill me. And after that, we get back the next weekend. I have the Baylor Marathon that I'm doing, which is the quote unquote toughest half marathon in Texas, which I don't know. We'll see what's up. So I heard it's tough. I heard it's hard. I just got to make sure I'm keeping up with my training, and I'm prepared for that. There's a lot of events this year. I'm trying to amp up for a Rocky Raccoon 100 miler next year. And I'm not there yet, but hopefully I'll be there by next February. So that's that. More videos to come, but I wanted to throw that out there, make sure everybody was aware of like what happened, how I feel. And yeah, I'm not dead. Hey, I got a haircut because I deserve that shit. And that's it. Get out there. Escape your comfort zone.